Father, I read that in the war with the Italians, the Greeks first tried to destroy the enemy's fortifications, and only afterward they attacked. The devil does the same thing. Just as the enemy, before attacking with artillery, bombards the fortifications from the air in order to destroy them, so the devil first bombards a person with thoughts, and only afterward attacks him. If he does not ruin a person's thought, he does not attack, because the person defends himself with the good thought. He is in his shelter. A left-hand thought is like a foreign body, and a person must struggle to cast it away. We all have the strength for this struggle. No one is justified in saying that he is weak and cannot do it. We are not speaking about a pickaxe or a sledgehammer, which a person cannot lift because his hands are trembling. I do not see anything difficult in turning everything toward the right. Why should I examine, for example, another person's caprice? It may be that, in reality, what he is doing is not caprice at all, but something he is doing intentionally in order to humble himself. Father, I am troubled because I work only with left-hand thoughts. I struggle, but I cannot turn toward the right. The fact that you realize which thoughts are not pure, that you are troubled by them, and that you struggle to remove them, this too is progress. If you want to progress more, then when the devil attacks you with left-hand thoughts and pulls you to his side, turn the steering wheel forcefully in the other direction and pay no attention to him. Try to place good thoughts in your mind, both for the younger sisters and for the older ones who are doing inner work quietly, because the evil one ruins your thought in order to delay your spiritual progress. If you had not clung to your thoughts, you would have made spiritual leaps. The whole spiritual life is founded on thought. Progress in the spiritual life depends on thought. Father, how can I be helped in the struggle against left-hand thoughts? Through watchfulness and unceasing prayer. If you are watchful, you are attentive, and you place good thoughts in your mind. For example, you see a glass and you think of the holy chalice, of the mystical supper, of Christ, and so on. But if you are not watchful, your mind may go to various unspiritual things, or even to things worthy of lamentation. That is why you should try not to gather the dross of thoughts up, so that afterward you will not have to struggle to drive them out. Say the prayer and be attentive to its words. And if your mind runs away, gather it back again and keep doing this. Do not let your mind wander aimlessly, because even if the mind is not always occupied only with ugly things, but also with indifferent things, even these weaken it through distraction, and it becomes scattered. And the thoughts caused by distraction are more treacherous than evil thoughts, because we do not recognize them in order to reject them. Father, the thought tells me, you have made no progress at all in all these years since you have been in the monastery. Let me hear, what else does the thought tell you? As I have understood, you listen a great deal to the evil one. How he deceives you. Why do you believe the evil one? Why do you let yourselves be thrown into confusion? Be calm. You are grieving in vain and tormenting yourself for no reason. The evil one presents things to you in a confused way, like a fakir. He makes you dizzy with pessimistic thoughts so that he may consume your time and distract you from prayer and from attention in your obedience. Even if he only confuses you a little and makes you lose the desire to fight against him, that is enough for him to advance. When you are working alone, try to keep this rule: psalmody, doxology, prayer with the mind or with the voice, so that you may avoid the whispers of thoughts, that is, so that you may change the subject. If the devil changes the subject, why should we not change it too? I have told you before that during a conversation, at the very moment when I must say something to someone that will help him, someone comes and interrupts the conversation, or some noise is made and so on, so that I am forced to stop. If the tempter creates such disturbances, why should we not create disturbances for him too? Be intelligent. Mock the evil one. Father, sadness and boredom torment me. I suffer a martyrdom before martyrdom. You have confidence in yourself. Left-hand thoughts have become a natural state for you, and that is why you suffer. You need thoughts from the right. You must change the cunning machines of your factory into good machines. The best work a person can do is to make himself a factory of good thoughts. Then his mind will make even the bad thoughts good. For example, if you see a person as a soul, as an angel, you ascend angelically to heaven and your life becomes a feast. But if you see him in a carnal way, you descend into hell. Father, sometimes when I place a good thought in my mind, shortly afterward a left-hand thought comes and ruins everything. Could this happen because I am not doing it from the heart? The aim is to do it from the heart, and if left-hand thoughts come to you, say to yourself, "These belong to the other one. I must drive him away. I have made my decision. That is settled. It is finished." Father, when with effort I drive away a left-hand thought, why does it come back, even though that subject has already ended? Yes, the subject has ended, but the evil one has not finished. The devil never dies. An old man used to say, "A dog runs away if you give it 1 or 2 kicks." But the devil does not run away. He insists. He stands there and does not leave. I light a candle for the saints of the cell, so that the demons may leave, but they say to me, "Did you light the candle for us?" "Hey, you darkened ones, how could it be for you? I lit it for the saints." "Yes, but we forced you," they say to me. Father, when something unpleasant happens to someone, and he begins to say, "My God, why must this happen to me too? Is this person helped? How can he be helped?" The essential thing is for a person to explain everything through the good thought. Only then does he benefit. There are some who have a good engine and many conditions for the spiritual life, but their steering wheel is turned in the wrong direction. If they turn their steering wheel in the direction of good thoughts, then afterward they advance steadily in the right direction. Father, do good thoughts come by themselves, or must we cultivate them? You must cultivate them. You must watch yourself, examine yourself, and when the enemy brings you evil thoughts, try to drive them away and replace them with good thoughts. When you struggle in this way, your intention will be cultivated and will become good. And then God, seeing your good intention, will have mercy on you and help you. And so evil thoughts will find no place within you. They will leave, and naturally you will have good thoughts. You will acquire a habit toward the good. Goodness will come into your heart, and in this way Christ will dwell within you. But this does not happen from one day to the next. Time is needed, and a continual struggle, so that the soul may receive the crown of victory. Then the warfare disappears forever, because wars are the outbreaks of inner disorder, which the suggestions of the enemy exploit. So then, Father, those who have good thoughts have attained this through struggle. It depends. Some people have good thoughts from the very beginning of their spiritual life, and in this way they make progress. Others, although in the beginning they have good thoughts, afterward do not take heed and begin to have left-hand thoughts. Others have left-hand thoughts in the beginning, but by watching themselves and seeing how many times they are harmed by them, they lose confidence in themselves, and afterward they have good thoughts. Others may have half good thoughts and half evil thoughts. Others have more good thoughts and others more evil thoughts. Someone, for example, who comes to become a monk has good and evil thoughts according to the environment and the conditions in which he lived. He may have 10 to 20% good thoughts, or even 80%. When he begins to do inner work, he watches himself, tries to drive away the evil thoughts and cultivate the good ones. Continuing this struggle, after a certain period of time he will reach the point of having only good thoughts. The amount of time needed for the evil thoughts to leave will depend on the amount of time he had them. Then, little by little, even the good thoughts stop, and he reaches an emptiness. Then there passes a period of time in which he has neither good thoughts nor evil thoughts. This phase also brings with it a certain uneasiness in the soul, and the person begins to ask himself, what is happening? What is going on now? I had evil thoughts, and they left. Good thoughts came. Now I have neither evil ones nor good ones. After this emptiness, the mind is filled with divine grace, and divine illumination comes. Father, what is this emptiness like? You cannot describe the sun to someone who has never seen the stars. If he has seen at least the stars, you can help him understand somewhat what the sun is like. Father, what helps someone reach this emptiness you spoke about? Spiritual reading, unceasing prayer, silence, and struggle with greatness of soul. A soul that takes the struggle against evil thoughts seriously can reach a better state than someone who has almost no evil thoughts at all. In other words, someone may have had at the beginning of his spiritual life 90 evil thoughts and 10 good ones, and may reach a better state than one who had 90 good thoughts and 10 evil ones. Father, how does purity of mind and heart come? I have told you that for the purification of the mind and the heart, a person must not accept the cunning thoughts that the evil one brings him, nor should he himself think in a cunning way. Rather, he should try always to place the good thought in his mind, not be quickly scandalized, and look at the faults of others with forbearance and love. When good thoughts increase, a person is purified in soul. He moves with reverence, he becomes peaceful, and his life is paradise. Otherwise, he sees everything with suspicion, and his life becomes hell. He makes his own life hell. We must work for purification. We can recognize the state we have reached, but this alone is not enough. If we do not accept cunning thoughts, and we ourselves do not think in a cunning way, but for everything that is said to us, for everything we see, we place the good thought, then the mind and the heart will be purified. Of course, the tempter will not cease from time to time to send us a cunning telegram. And although we will be freed from our own thoughts, there will still be attacks from the devil, but they will not stick if the heart is pure. Father, does prayer not help in the purification of the mind? Prayer alone is not enough. It is of no use for someone to burn kilos of incense when he prays, if his mind is full of evil thoughts against others. From the mind, the telegram descends into the heart and makes the person a beast. God wants us to have a pure heart, and our heart is pure when we do not allow evil thoughts against others to pass through our mind. Father, must a person first place the good thought, and only afterward God helps him? Only when a person places the good thought does divine help have a reason to come. With the good thought, he purifies his cunning heart, because all evils come out of the heart. And again, out of the abundance of the heart the mouth speaks. In other words, God rewards him for the good thought he places in his mind. Father, what helps me drive away suspicious thoughts? Are things always exactly as you see them? Always put a question mark over each of your thoughts, especially because you usually see everything from the left. And also place a good thought for others, so that you do not sin through your judgments. If you put 2 question marks, it is better. If you put 3, it is better still. In this way, you become peaceful and are helped, and you also help the other person. Otherwise, with a left-hand thought, you become irritated, troubled, and saddened, and so you harm yourself spiritually. When you face what you see with good thoughts, after a little while you will see that everything was indeed as you saw it with good thoughts. I will tell you an incident, so that you may see what a left-hand thought can do. One day a monk came to the hut and said to me, Father Haralambos is a sorcerer. He has done sorcery. What are you saying, poor man? Are you not ashamed? I said to him. Yes, he told me. I saw him one moonlit night doing and pouring something from a demijohn into some bushes. One day I went and found Father Haralambos. What are you doing, Father Haralambos? I asked him. How are you? Someone saw you pouring something from a demijohn into the bushes and doing mmm. There were some lilies in the bushes, and I went to water them, he told me. I was saying, Rejoice, O bride ever virgin. And I poured a little water on one lily. Rejoice, O bride ever virgin. And I poured a little water on another. I would fill the demijohn again and water them again. You see, and the other one took him for a sorcerer. I see what good thoughts some lay people have, while others, poor souls, torment themselves so much with things that do not even exist, and that not even the devil could have imagined. Once when it rained after a great drought, I felt such gratitude toward God that I was sitting in my cell and saying again and again, My God, I thank you millions and billions of times. Outside, without my knowing it, there was a layman, and he heard me. Afterward, when he saw me, he said, Father, I was scandalized. I heard you saying millions and billion, and I said to myself, What are these things Father Paisios is saying? What could he have been told? I was offering thanks to God for the rain, and he thought I was counting money. And if it had been someone else, he could have come at night to rob me, give me a good beating as well, and in the end, find nothing. Another time someone came who had a sick child. I took him into the little church so that I could listen to him. When I heard his problem, I told him in order to help him, You too must do something to help your child. You do not make prostrations, you do not keep a fast, you do not have money to give alms. So say to God, My God, I have no good thing to sacrifice for the health of my child. I will at least try to give up cigarettes. The poor man was moved and promised that he would do it. I went to open the door for him to leave, and he left his cigarettes and lighter in the little church, under the icon of Christ. I did not notice anything. After him, a young man entered the little church, wanting to tell me something. Afterward, he went outside and was smoking. My brave fellow, I told him, it is not proper to smoke here. Go a little farther away. But is it allowed to smoke inside the church? He asked me. He had seen the pack of cigarettes and the lighter that the father of the sick child had left there, and he put in his mind the thought that I smoke. I let him leave with his thought. Well, even if I smoked, would I smoke inside the church? Do you see what a thought means? Father, how much harm can suspicion and mistrust cause in the soul? The harm is in proportion to the suspicion. Suspicion brings sickness. And how is it healed? Through good thoughts. Father, if a person sees that he was wrong once because of suspicion, does that not help him? If he is wrong once, all right, but if he is wrong twice, he will be drained. Attention is needed because even if things are not as we thought only one time in 1,000, we still condemn ourselves. When I was in the Coenobitic monastery, once during Great Lent, an old monk, Father Dorotheos, was frying zucchini. A brother saw him at the moment when he was putting them into the frying pan and came and told me, You should see this. Father Dorotheos is frying some huge red mullets. But it is not possible for Father Dorotheos to fry red mullets during Great Lent, I told him. Yes, he is, he told me. I saw them with my own eyes, red mullets this big. Old Dorotheos had come to the holy mountain when he was 15 years old, and he was like a mother. If he saw a monk who was a little sickly, he would say to him, Come here, I will tell you a secret. And he would give him a little tahini with walnut or something else. And he would care for the old men according to their need. Afterward I went to Elder Dorotheos, and what did I see? He was frying zucchini for the infirmary. Father, but what if a suspicious thought about someone turns out to be true? If such a thought turns out to be true once, does that mean that such thoughts will turn out to be true every time? And besides, how do you know that God did not allow that thought to be confirmed so that the other person might be tested spiritually in humility? Of course, such a person must also take care not to give others reasons to draw wrong conclusions. For example, if someone puts left-hand thoughts about you in his mind, it may be that he himself does this because he has a passion, but it may also be that you gave him a reason. If, even though you are careful, the other person still thinks something against you, then glorify God and pray for him. Father, I suffer when a thought of pride comes to me. Do you keep it inside you? Yes. Why do you keep it? Close the door on it. If you keep it inside you, it harms you. The thought comes like a thief, and you open the door for it, bring it inside, begin a conversation with it, and afterward it robs you. Does anyone ever hold a conversation with a thief? Not only does he not discuss with him, but he also locks the door so that he cannot come inside. It is possible not to talk with him, but why do you let him come inside? Let us give an example. I am not saying that you have such thoughts, but let us suppose that a thought comes to you that you could have been the abbess. All right, the thought came. As soon as it comes, say to yourself, very well, you want to be abbess. First become abbess over yourself. And in this way, you immediately cut off the conversation. What are we going to discuss with the devil? You see, when the devil went to tempt Christ, he said to him, "Get behind me, Satan." If Christ said to the devil, "Come now, leave," what are we going to discuss with him? Father, is it bad to discuss with a left-hand thought in order to see where it comes from? The bad thing is that you are not discussing with the thought as you imagine, but with the devil. At that moment you feel pleasure, but afterward you are tormented. Do not discuss at all with such thoughts. Take the grenade and throw it at the enemy so that you may kill him. A grenade is made in such a way that it does not explode immediately, but after 2 or 3 seconds. So also, the left-hand thought cannot harm you if you drive it away immediately. But many times you are not attentive, you do not say the prayer, and you cannot defend yourself. The devil's telegram comes from outside. You take it, read it, reread it, agree with it, and put it into the archive. The devil will present these files on the day of judgment in order to accuse you. Father, when does the attack of a left-hand thought become a fall? The thought comes and you drive it away immediately. This is not a fall. It comes and you discuss with it. This is a fall. It comes, you accept it a little, and then you drive it away. This is half a fall, because even in this case you are harmed since the devil has defiled your mind. In other words, it is as though the devil came and you said to him, "Good day, how are you? Well, sit down, let me offer you something." "Oh, you are the devil? Leave." If you saw that it was the devil, why did you bring him inside? You honored him and he will come again. Father, why do various evil thoughts come to me in the monastery, while this did not happen to me in the world? Am I allowing them? No, Blessed One. Let them come and go. Do the airplanes that pass over the monastery and disturb your peace ask you whether they should pass or not? So it is with these thoughts. Do not be discouraged. These thoughts are the devil's schemes. They are like migratory birds which, when they fly through the air, are very beautiful, and you stand there with your mouth open looking at them. But when they come down and make nests under the eaves of your house, then they hatch chicks, and the chicks make filth. Father, why do such thoughts come to me? The devil does this work. But there is also ferment within you. The purification has not yet taken place. Since you do not accept them, you are not responsible. Let the dogs bark. Do not throw many stones at them, because as long as you throw stones at them, they continue to bark, and from the many stones they will build a monastery or a house, depending on the case, and afterward you will have difficulty demolishing it. Father, when exactly does consent to thoughts take place? When you suck on them like candy. Try not to suck on these thoughts, which are sugar-coated on the outside, but poison on the inside, and then fall into despair. It is not something alarming for evil thoughts to pass through a person's mind, because evil thoughts do not pass only through angels and the perfected ones. What is alarming is when a person levels a piece of his heart and receives the winged wolves, the demons. If this should ever happen, then confession is needed immediately, the cultivation of the airfield of the heart, and the planting of fruit-bearing trees so that the heart may become paradise again.